Joining BYU Sports Nation now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is Michael Smith, a man who was drafted out of BYU and in the first round. Mike, welcome back to the show.
That's right. It was a first-round pick. It ended so quickly I completely forgot.
What do you remember about draft night, Mike?
Oh, my gosh. So many thoughts and so many impressions going on before it ever took place. But I remember working out with all the teams who drafted like between 8 and 16. So that gives you some indication, like where you're going to go. Those are the teams that are interested. It's pretty consistent. And I really had no clue what was going to happen. So I'm a little bit out of breath. I just got out of the
it's
gym with the
okay.
wifey.
You're working out or something.
It's good.
Pumping iron, bro.
Trying. I was. But Boston picked 13. Golden State picked 14. Denver picked 15. Oh, if memory serves, like Washington was 9. I can't remember who was 10. It was either Minnesota or New Jersey, and then Portland were kind of those in before Boston. Boston had me in for one interview. It was like they flew me out. It was an interview. They spent a day. It was not a workout. It was nothing. It was just like dinner with the coach and the GM and just kind of quick in and out. And I was like, wow, that was a waste. And, you know, they had an All-American Hall of Fame front line, and I thought, oh, they're not picking me. You know, their needs were at point guard. Dennis Johnson was 36 years old, and I thought, oh, they're taking Tim Hardaway. Well, Golden State that year played the Jazz in the playoffs, if you remember. So not only had they had me out for a workout, but during the first or second round of the playoffs, they're in Salt Lake City playing the Jazz. They had me up 3 different days during their playoffs to watch film of myself, film of BYU games, film of my college all-star game. And, I mean, I met with Don Nelson. I met with everybody. I thought, they're choosing me. Like, I was sure Golden State was picking me 14, and Boston picked me 13. So I honestly thought it would be the perfect situation because I had time to play behind a couple of Hall of Famers. But what I didn't realize is that if you don't get established in those first 2 years, like in your mind and everyone else's mind, it creates doubt. And if there's doubt, all of a sudden they start to see all the flaws. And I just didn't realize that. I thought, okay, these guys will play 3 more years. I'll step right in. But you really needed to crack that lineup right away. And it just was the wrong team. I mean, I had Burden McHale, who played probably 42 of the 48 minutes. So if there was any time, it was like 6 minutes a game. In 6 minutes, I could get 6 points and 2 rebounds, or I could get 0 and 0, depending on how the ball bounced. That's really how it goes. It's so fickle when you play so few minutes. We all know that. But if you play 20 minutes, I think I ran the numbers one time because I was so angry that in all the NBA games that I played 20 minutes or more, okay, all the games that I played 20 minutes or more, I averaged 16 points a game.
How about
so
that?
Go figure that.
How about that?
That's crazy. Now let's just get the elephant in the room out, okay? So yesterday we did a fantasy draft, and Spencer's team would have smoked mine.
Yeah, and I picked you, Mike.
I was pathetic, okay? Your daughter Maddie, she's on our crew. She informed you of the injustices that happened yesterday. I said that I didn't have you on my big board. Here's what happened. I took the angle of how did these guys perform in the pros? So if it was how you did at BYU, that was different, right? And Spencer took that angle, and that was a better angle. It really was. So I didn't even have you on your big board because of the things you just mentioned, which was you didn't get much of a shot, and then you end up going to Spain and being a successful pro there. But you know what? That's my bad. I want to apologize for not having you on my big board. That was a mistake.
Jerem, as I say to my 8-year-olds when they say,
oh boy.
I'm sorry, I say, I forgive you.
Thank you? Question mark?
No, I mean, it's so difficult because, I mean, you look at an NBA career, like I was, you know, the better college player than like probably all the guys you had on your board, except for maybe Jimmer and Danny, who had historic college careers, maybe Tyler Hawes, if you just look at the number of games and all that. But I just don't think that's a true reflection, you know, like, but then you got Fred Roberts, who was, let's say, a very good college player, not a great college player, but played 15 years in the NBA because his skill set translated to being one of those guys who could fit in on different teams. And I also think like expectations play a big part of it. So like if I had never been drafted, so let's say I was a return missionary and I played my 4 years at BYU, and golly, I had a knee injury my senior year and nobody wanted me. But then I just showed up into somebody's camp every fall with no expectation. Nobody knew who I was. I bet I make an NBA team 15 years in a row. But because you're the highest draft pick Boston has had in years, and all of a sudden it doesn't work out and the team starts to falter and the team starts to look old, which we did. Bird and McHale and Parrish and DJ and Jim Paxson were all 31 to 36 years old, and the league was getting quicker and stronger and faster. And so I was the kind of guy who fit in with what they did in the early 80s, and now we're jumping into the 90s, and the whole league's kind of transforming into Jordan, let's move quicker and play smaller, and Jordan and Pippen are the best duo instead of Magic and Kareem or Bird and McHale. It's getting quicker and more versatile. I didn't really fit into that mold, what they wanted to do. So it's all, it's neither here nor there. Who cares? I'm 51 years old. What does it matter anymore? But it's a great game. I loved every minute of it. God, do I wish I played 12 years and retired with a bank load of money? Yeah, but maybe I wouldn't have learned the lessons I've learned.
Michael Smith with us on BYU Sports Nation. NBA draft pick 13th overall in 1989 to the Boston Celtics, one of the all-time scorers at BYU, and now the color analyst for the Los Angeles Clippers. Mike, you watch a lot of NBA basketball courtside, and you brought up some interesting points that I want to translate over to Jimmer Fredette specifically. He's a guy that had expectations. He was taken 10th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks 5 years ago, and his NBA career hasn't really panned out like he hoped or many BYU fans had hoped. Does he have a shot, or is he in a scenario kind of like you faced in Boston?
Yeah, it's different, but I guess similar in some respect. Just Jimmer finds himself in a quandary where offensively he can play in the NBA, but defensively he can't guard either of those two positions. And so it's really, really hard. He has had a shot with various teams. The one shot I thought when they gave him at San Antonio, I thought, okay, they'll find a way because of the way he shoots the ball, and you can put a Duncan behind him and a defensive player of the year in Kawhi Leonard on his wing and help him. But I got nothing against Jimmer. The guy's got incredible confidence. He had a historic career. Every BYU person, who's 40 and younger right now loves the guy. That's all they talk about. And it's well-deserved for the run he had, the points he scored, and what he did. But sometimes your college skills don't always translate to the NBA level. And there's, less than ideal college players who come out of nowhere and become great NBA players. There's such an emphasis now on length and height and quickness and speed for things, I wasn't really blessed with. And Jimmer kind of falls into the same suit. He's short, he's stocky, he's short arms, small hands, those things. Just look at a guy like George Hill, who was the point guard for Indiana last year, who's 6'2", but his wingspan is 6'11". Just consider that.
Yeah,
for a
ridiculous
second.
numbers.
That's a guy who would be guarding a Jimmer in the NBA. So Jimmer's shot that he got off at will in college from unbelievable range, and we know he can play because he went down into the D League last year and lit it up. It's just a different game with the size, speed, length factor, and I feel for him. But, there's no reason he can't go play overseas, and I know he doesn't want to give up the dream, and go play for 12 years. He could score a bundle over there. The game is suited to spacing and shooting, and they don't have long, athletic guards like that. They have guards of similar stature where his savvy and strength and shooting and intelligence will pan out.
Yeah.
When you look at a guy like Kyle Collinsworth, who went undrafted, that was expected last night. What would he have to do in summer league to get a shot at a roster next season?
You know who he reminds me of is the kid in San Antonio, Kyle Anderson, who played at UCLA. And every time I watched him at UCLA, I thought he's too slow to play in the NBA. He'll never make it. But he's tall, so he's a little bit taller than Kyle. And San Antonio finds a fit for guys like that. Think of a Boris Diaw and a Kyle Anderson, and just a ball-moving, savvy guy with multi-skills. So there may be a place for Kyle. He's got to improve his shot. Like, he's got to be able to stand out there and knock down a three ball. And I don't know that that's part of his DNA. If it hasn't surfaced yet in 4 years of college that's a reliable trademark, I don't know that it will, but that's certainly, if I were he, where I'd be spending hours a day shooting threes and perfecting a shot and hiring a shot coach, because the rest of the game looks like it comes easy to him. He's tough. He can jump. He can pass. He can rebound for his size. He's a little bit of a tweener when you consider his speed. So he'd have to play small forward or shooting guard. He's not a big forward in the NBA, so that shooting is like the ultimate barometer for him. I hope he gets a shot, but if not, just like Tyler went overseas and played, he could do that and do it for a long time. I mean, his triple-double numbers in college were impressive.
Mike Smith with us on BYU Sports Nation. Mike, it's always interesting to get your perspective from someone, especially who watches basically night in and night out the NBA game happening and how the dynamics translate over right now. So we'll watch Kyle closely in Summer League and see if he has indeed improved that three-point shot and if he gets a shot in the NBA. But like I said, great to have you with us. And when we meet in the future at some point, our paths cross, I want you to remember that I was the one that drafted you in my fantasy basketball draft out of BYU.
Can I give you my all-time BYU five?
Yes, please do.
Okay, you'd have to go Kresimir Chosic at the center.
Okay.
I think you got to put like Mel Hutchins or Dick Nemelka at the one.
There's two of my five already.
And, Ainge at the two.
Okay.
You probably got to put me at the three.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going with Fred Roberts at the four.
Okay, it's a split down the middle. Two of Jerem's picks, two of mine. Fred Roberts did not get on either of our fives.
Because too many
but
forward.
I don't know how.
Yeah, we did a draft. We didn't just pick
Devin
five.
Durant off the list.
Yeah, Devin Durant.
Devin Durant was the next guard on my list.
Jimmer Fredette's not on that team.
He could play two guards. So maybe I put Ainge at the one and Durant at the two, me at the three, Fred at the four, and Kresimir at the five. That is like the Warriors' death lineup right there. That's like small ball versatility. I don't know who would guard us right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what college team could hang.
Chosic could play 1 through 5. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I love it. Okay, we'll put out your five on social media for the world to take in.
Okay, Ainge 1, Durant 2, Smith 3, Roberts 4, Chosic 5.
All right, pretty solid.
Pretty good.
Mike, thanks for the time, man.
Okay, be nice to my daughter up there.
We will do that.
Great.
We will do that.
Yep.